Gather your family together for a special Halloween treat as Fox presents the world premiere of Here Come the Munsters.
It's us!
TV's monstrously funny family returns.
Oops, you scared me to life.
In an all-new movie adventure for the 90s.
Don't stop to chase any cars!
It's gonna be a party that'll raise the dead.
Oh, that's pretty.
During the movie, Fox will be trick-or-treating live. That's right, we may show up at your front door. Now that's a scary thought.
And now, Here Come the Munsters on the Fox Tuesday Night Movie.
Hey guys, Robert here. Welcome to a new At the Movies. That I have a new guest with us, Eliza. That's your cue.
Yeah, hi, I'm Eliza. I review animated series and stuff like that on my own YouTube channel.
Yep, and we both moderate on Linkara's channel. That's where we know each other.
Yes.
And, well, we both always have to have a liking for the Munsters, which brings us here today. This is going to be the first of 3 videos where we go over a couple of the Munsters attempts at revival movies. You have Here Come the Munsters, which we'll be going over today. The Munsters' Scary Little Christmas, which was supposed to be a sequel to this movie. And then finally the Rob Zombie Munsters movie. Eliza, what's your history with the Munsters?
I started off watching the Munsters at a really young age because, like a lot of shows, it aired in reruns in the late 80s, early 90s. And honestly, I think the first thing I ever saw was one of the made-for-TV movies, Go Home Munster.
Munsters Go Home. I think actually that was the theatrical movie, actually. That was a theatrical one.
Oh, well, that's the first thing I ever saw on television. And then I started watching a lot of the Munsters, and I loved it.
Same here.
I liked a lot of the weirder stuff that was aimed at, all ages, like the Addams Family, the Munsters, Erie, Indiana, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me, if I had to choose between Addams and Munsters, I'd go with Munsters. Munsters, the Addams always felt, they're creepy and they're kooky, of course, but something about them just always felt they were not relatable compared to the Munsters,
Yeah, that's because they have different things that they're aiming for. The Munsters is trying to be the working class horror thing, while the Addams Family is this kooky rich family.
Exactly, that's the big thing. One is rich enough that they can do all the stuff they do and not have to worry. Whereas the Munsters, blue collar and everything. They have to deal with the normal struggles like us every day. And I think I've noticed that it's more the Munsters that seem to take things so nonchalant. They do it more nonchalant than even the Addams do. It seems like the Addams are a bit more self-aware by a little margin. Especially when they have to deal with their neighbors. Whereas the Munsters never really had neighbors that really were regular antagonists, if you know what I'm saying.
Well, there's Edna.
Well, yeah, that's true. But yeah, though, was Here Come the Munsters. And much like when we get to Rob Zombie, this was a prequel movie. But unlike Rob Zombie that goes all the way back to Herman's creation and him meeting Lily, this is more about why did they come to 1313 Mockingbird Lane.
Yep.
And I gotta say, the cast for this movie is really good.
I thought so as well. The only problem I really had with the cast in this film was the actor that they had playing Marilyn, but then again, she also doesn't show up that much in the movie.
You know that's the actress who played Marsha in the Brady movies.
Ah, I did not realize that.
Kind of fitting then, if you ask me.
Yeah.
But so they decided to leave Transylvania because the people wanting to attack them and everything in Transylvania has gotten way too out of hand. They started getting rocket launchers and shooting it at the house. It's like, I gotta tell you, I love it. The guy with an eye patch, he's using his bad eye, like, whoa, use the good eye.
That was a great joke at the very beginning of the movie. I honestly thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, I love again how these people are like, oh, just go talk to them. I'm like, he's talking to them like these are just rowdy neighbors. Where it's like, they want you dead, Herman. It's like right off the bat. we have their personalities right off the bat. They're so oblivious that people don't want them that they are like, I mean, they do know to an extent, but they're so used to it that they're like, what else is new?
Yeah.
But the guy doing Herman was, let me get the full cast list so I can list them all. Hold on. Here Come the Munsters. Edward Herman was the guy who played Herman, and out of all these three movies, he's the best Herman. He really captures Fred Gwynne better than anyone.
Although there is no replacing Fred Gwynne.
Oh, no, there is no, but he's the closest.
Yes.
Veronica Hamel as Lily, she really was spot on. And Robert Morse as Grandpa, he captured the energy very well. He wasn't trying to ape Al Lewis, but you could so tell he had the spirit of Al Lewis, which is fitting because Yvonne DiCarlo, Al Lewis, and I'm just forgetting the original Eddie's actor. Butch Patrick and Pat Priest were all there in a restaurant sequence.
My favorite scene in the entire movie, by the way.
Oh, of course. Now, unfortunately, Fred Gwynne had passed away, but since he wouldn't be in the makeup, I'm sure he would have done it.
Oh, yeah.
Anything to not be in the makeup. But yeah, also we had Christine Taylor, aka as I said before, Marcia from the Brady Bunch movies was Marilyn, and a young kid doing Eddie. He was really good.
Yeah, although I don't think I've ever seen him in anything else. What was his
nope,
name?
there's no other link. There's no other links to what he's done.
I can look him up on IMDb really quickly.
Oh, but funny thing, you want to know who played the girl who liked him?
Who?
That was Francesca Smith, a.k.a. Helga from Hey Arnold.
Oh, okay, here's the thing. While I review cartoons, something that people have noticed about my thing is that I have not done any Nickelodeon cartoons yet. That's because I didn't watch Nickelodeon cartoons until My Life as a Teenage Robot.
Love that. But,
because the first one I ever saw was
go ahead.
Snippy, and I hated it.
Okay, fair enough. But if you want a different example, she was that female Clayface clone.
Ah, yes, I know who that is.
Yeah, so that's the same actress doing it. I'm like, wow, I keep forgetting how young she was.
Okay, I have Matthew Patukas up, and he has done other things.
Oh, he has?
Crappy things. Yes, crappy things.
Oh, so this is probably the best thing he's done?
Well, he's did Three Ninjas High Noon at Mega Mountain, a.k.a. the worst Three Ninjas movie. He did several episodes of Will and Grace.
Okay.
He did several episodes of Days of Our Lives, and that's pretty much it.
Something called The Middle. Never heard of that.
Yeah.
Okay. But still, he was a good Eddie. He still was a good Eddie. But so basically, they decide, well, we better leave. And by also love, we see Eddie with his stuffed werewolf, and it gets a flame arrow. So, hey, can I keep it? It's like they didn't do much of the fire stuff with Herman in the show, if I recall, but them doing it here made so much sense.
Yeah, I honestly don't remember the fire thing being a thing from the show, but it has been a long time since I watched the Munsters show.
Same here. But Spot was great, and the fact that Spot buries the mailman.
Yes.
And that's where they find the letter, although they find most of the letter. I mean, they only found most of the mailman. But so they
found more of the letter than the mailman.
Yeah, but they find out that in the original show, it was and Marilyn was their niece on Lily's side. Here, it's on Herman's side.
Yes.
And her name and Herman's sister Elsa Hyde, and yes, that's going to be she's both based off of the Bride of Frankenstein look wise, and Hyde is going to come in very important as they come there looking for to Marilyn's father, Norman Hyde, who, well, I guess Jekyll and the whole Jekyll Hyde thing makes sense why Marilyn looks so different.
Yeah. Honestly, though, I thought that was actually a nice little thing that they did there by doing a kind of like a reverse Jekyll and Hyde thing. But that's
Oh yeah, which we could we find? Yeah, but yeah, we'll get to that. But they show up there because they assume they think they wanted us to come there to stay with them. Not the case, and unfortunately, with Norman missing and Elsa in a coma, they don't have anyone to sponsor them. Yes, this whole movie is very much about immigration, and the funny thing is, it's very. When I first watched it a while ago, I'm like, oh my god, I'm hearing stuff here that I've been hearing recently.
It feels like if you pay attention to the villains and some of the side characters, the movie feels very anti-immigration, but it's not. It's actually very pro-immigration.
Very much so. I mean, the fact that the whole idea of Herman having to go get a job and Eddie having to go to school and everything, it's very much at the heart of it, especially Herman. Again, every time he goes to get a job, everyone's like, ah! But I love how his caseworker, she doesn't care. It's like, oh, I'm here to help you no matter what.
And they also have several great secondary characters that are also immigrants, like the person that's doing the immigration passports at the airport.
Oh yeah, oh yes, it says here your account. Yes, from Transylvania. I just flew it in. Boy, are my arms tired. Like I never heard that joke before. Joke.
Or the guy driving the hearse that takes them to the house.
Exactly, which. That was one of my favorite explanations to Herman getting the job. It's right as they get there, and he tried everything, and then he pulls out, he's about to cry or blow his nose or whatever, pulls out and finds that he has the card that he was given. He's like, hey, I could work there because it's the best place for him to work. Who pays attention to the hearse drivers?
Yeah, and also my favorite character out of the characters who are obviously immigrants themselves is the caseworker.
Yes! I love that about her. It's like, and again, the fact that she's just so, like, she's willing to help him, even, and, like, she doesn't even blink at how he looks. When everyone else runs out, she's all like,
Unemployment seems to be going down already.
Yeah, exactly. And, of course, Herman knows it, but he's not going to say anything. But it turns out John Landis produced this.
Which is surprising because the amount of John Landis films I've seen.
Yeah, but I mean, it kind of has that feel of him, I think. I think that might be why it worked so well.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't direct it, but he produced it. But yeah, but yeah, so we later find out through a video that Norman was trying to make a potion that make Marilyn more like them. And we see some mysterious guy off to the side. He drinks it by mistake. Yeah, that was the one shoehorn thing. I'm like, okay, why did he drink it? What mixed him up with it?
Oh, because if you look closely, you can see his coffee cup right next to where he was working.
Right. You're right. But as soon as he did it, he just starts to grow bigger, but the camera gets knocked over. But of course, once we see this guy running for Congress named Brent Jekyll, you know where this is going.
Yep.
But I gotta say, I did like the main bad guy using him, because it's the whole idea of a person without a great candidate without a past. That is like the gold mine for anyone who wants to manipulate them.
Oh yeah.
And the fact is, I think that he still had the simple. While Norman was smart, he was a simple guy, and I think that carried over to Hyde.
Yeah. So like I said, like we were talking about before we began, that's one of the biggest things about the Munsters is complex. They're simple.
Exactly. Well, yeah. Sorry.
It's one of the major differences between the Munsters and the Addams Family. The Addams Family are complex. The Munsters are simple.
Exactly. But yeah, so they didn't decide we need to get him. And by, of course, Herman gets arrested, bleeding. It's shenanigans ensue throughout all of this. But again,
my favorite shenanigan is when Grandpa literally builds a second Herman.
I know. You're right. He goes through more rights than lefts. Or was it lefts and rights?
I don't remember exactly, but I still love that part.
Yeah. Of course, it's only for that one shot. Otherwise, you know what it is. Things are perfectly fine. But, and then, I do like how they emphasize a bit more about Grandpa's magic. But yeah, it turns into a police woman. Whoops. And then I love it. It's like, maybe we could take a bite. A bite, huh? Sounds very tempting. I just love that he goes from doing the female voice to the deep voice. I mean, I get where that's going, but you know, they don't do it with any shame. It's just he's just it's one of those games where he's breaking character, not making any statement on that type of thing. Because I do know some of those jokes like that can fall into someone misreading it. It's like, no, he's breaking character. It's not saying anything about you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, and then they get Herman out of there, and we forgot to mention a part about Eddie. When he was at school, they have this big showing the moon, and apparently any image of the moon will turn him werewolf. That was a stretch.
Yeah.
If you know your werewolf stuff, it's the moonlight, the moon rays that do it. It's not just the image of the moon, but it set up something for near the end. But apparently turning into a werewolf makes him cool at school. Even though he scared the crap out of everyone. That was a stretch, wouldn't you say? I mean, nowadays,
Yes.
I mean, look, that was the main point of Mockingbird Lane, the pilot that never got picked up.
Yeah. The entire point is the fact that people think that the Munsters are... Well, the people run from the Munsters.
Yeah, because they know, freaks! So they decide we need to get him, to shoot him with this antidote. So they need to go over there and do it. So Eddie causes this big distraction. Herman and Grandpa try to do it. They get caught and everything. And then eventually it leads to Marilyn and I like that Marilyn was the one who actually gave the antidote.
It makes narrative sense. It is her father, after all.
It is. So yeah, he's reversed back to normal. The bad guy ends up, thanks to Lily. I love how Lily even got something to do by turning on the mic so you could hear him snapping and just insulting everyone. And then so he feels like, I'll get you. And then he turns out, you think, that's the last you see of him? Nope. Because now with Norman there, they're able to get Elsa back to normal. He then decides, I'm going to blow up their whole house. He sees the doorway to where Spot sleeps, but he thinks this is the perfect spot. And what happens? Oh no! He gets blown up. And it didn't do that much damage, so I wonder if Spot ate him.
That's my theory there, because otherwise, with that much dynamite that he's holding, it should have blown up the house.
Exactly. I mean, it blew up the door, so I think he was in Spot's mouth, so it went outward from his mouth to blow that wall.
Yes.
But yeah, they did it. Norman kisses Elsa at the same time. She wakes out. She's all happy. Everyone's back. Herman says she's alive. Oh, that was the other weird thing. When they're on the flight from Transylvania in the beginning, everyone's freaking out and being terrified of the Bride of Frankenstein, while Herman and Lily are looking at it like it's a romantic movie, which, okay, for the punchline it works, but why is everyone being terrified like it's a horror movie of the worst kind?
I mean, I understand people back in the 1930s being afraid of Frankenstein, but horror has evolved so much since then.
Exactly. It's like, I mean, again, it's for the punchline, and it's a good punchline. The two looking at like, isn't this the most romantic movie we've ever seen? But it doesn't work.
I mean, if you showed it to a child, they might be afraid of it.
Yeah. But overall, so they decide they're going to go all over the world, Norman and Elsa on a second honeymoon. So they're leaving them all there for the house sit, which I think that is illegal. And also, they're not going to be deported. They've been considered recognized citizens and everything. And everyone is going to have, they decide, hey, we're going to go have fun, go out. You two take care. And we end with a bit of everyone dancing in the yard.
Yeah. Although I will say this, the one thing I did notice is that the person playing Grandpa in this, Robert Morse, he plays Grandpa a little bit thirstier than Alan ever did.
I think that worked, though, because it didn't hurt the character at all.
No, it's good. It's just like, Wow, I don't remember Grandma Munster being this thirsty.
But then again, back then they wouldn't have never done the biting, biting anyone even then. So
Yeah.
I think they didn't even want to attempt it. I bet you if they could have done it with the Hays Code, they probably would have.
Oh yeah.
Yep. So overall, I give this an 8, a strong 8.
I would give it about a 7, but I'm a little bit. That's because I think it got the best cast, but the story is where this thing suffers because it becomes predictable about halfway through.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it does. It really does about halfway through. But at the same time, though, it still relatively works, for the narrative, and there wasn't that much contrivances really. Everything did have an explanation, even down to having it be, one of the cops that works with that guy ends up being he's just as bigoted.
Yeah.
I do think the bigotry, at least back then, is over the top. Nowadays, unfortunately, it fits, but back then, it did feel laughable. But isn't that sad, though, that what was once considered laughable is now unfortunately considered the norm?
Well, it might have seemed laughable to you, but that might be because of the whole difference in life.
Right. Oh, right. I understand. No, I understand. I'm just saying back then when I saw it, actually, to be fair, when I saw it back then, it went over my head.
For me, it didn't go over my head, but that's because I had to live through some of that myself.
Ooh, I'm so sorry.
Not the immigration part, because literally from here, but the whole bigotry thing I've had to deal with.
Right. Oh, I did like, though, the fact that the bigoted cop was called Warsowski, and then the other guy mocks him because it's like, in this day, like, really? Your name doesn't sound American. Like, he called him out on his hypocrisy, and I did like that.
Great Native American name right there, isn't it? Apache, isn't it?
Exactly. It's just like, but yeah, overall though, good movie. I guess I hate to say it though, it is a little downhill from here. A little,
but I think it picks back up at the end.
Oh no! I'm talking about the other two movies.
Yes.
Right. So we'll see you guys on the next one as we talk about the Munsters' Scary Little Christmas. Take care.
See you all next time.